The dungeon guard keeps watch, reflecting on how reckless the kids were to enter despite the issued warning. Suddenly, hundreds of rats begin fleeing from the dungeon. The guard turns around and sees various types of monsters emerging from within. He rushes to alert the guild, and everyone realizes the inevitable. A monster stampede is heading toward the city. At the guild, they wonder if the new adventurers will be safe. The guild leader reviews his documents on the dungeon, explaining that dungeons are living entities, and when they reach their maximum size, the monsters inside seek a new home. The document also states that defeating the dungeon's boss causes the dungeon to die along with all its monsters. Often wonders who could be strong enough to accomplish such a feat. Marielle thinks of Haruka but quickly dismisses the idea. The guild begins to shake, and the leader orders the evacuation of civilians, while the remaining forces head to the main gate to resist as much as they can. Meanwhile, Haruka reaches a new level, guarded by griffins. He offers them fish laced with paralyzing mushrooms. The griffins eat them, allowing Haruka to defeat them. On the 54th level, the entire class continues descending. Though exhausted, they are motivated by their determination to support Haruka. Suddenly, they come face to face with a pack of werewolves. Back in the city, Often and the other adventurers manage to defeat the first wave of monsters. Often remembers that the new adventurers are still in the dungeon and wonders if they might be able to defeat the boss. Some doubt whether entrusting such a dangerous mission to them is wise, but the leader is confident that Haruka can succeed. The problem, however, is that there's no way to communicate the situation or their task to the adventurers inside. Someone needs to deliver the message. Everyone turns to Marielle. The frightened girl insists it's impossible for her to make it through the dungeon. The leader agrees she won't succeed alone, so he assigns Offen to accompany her. Offen points out that they need every bit of strength to defend the city. The leader assures him they can hold the line, and Offen accepts the mission. Marielle, terrified and doubtful of her ability to succeed, looks at the adventurers before her, many injured from the last attack, yet still standing, ready to fight on. Summoning her courage, Marielle agrees to do her part in the battle. Haruka reaches level 81 and finds it flooded with water and whirlpools. In the water swim small carnivorous fish. Haruka realizes that while the previous levels had powerful enemies, these ones are much more troublesome. Several fish jump out of the water and attack Haruka, but Angelica uses her sword skills to save him. Haruka thanks her and admits that he let his guard down. Looking at the fish again, he sees that they are level 81 and there are a lot of them. He knows that if they all attack at once, there is no way he can survive. Their speed poses another serious problem. He remembers how fishmongers keep fish on ice and decides that it might be a viable solution. He places his hand in the water and uses his magic to freeze it, slowing the fish down. He then uses his packing ability, trapping the sins in blocks of ice. Haruka celebrates his success and names the operation Fish Market. She begins to cross the room, jumping over stone paths as she continues to use her packing ability to catch the remaining fish. Suddenly, a large shadow moves across the water. Angelica tries to warn her, but it's too late. A huge fish with sharp teeth leaps out of the water. It's the room's boss. Haruka realizes that the boss is furious that she defeated his kin. The huge fish creates a large wave, which Angelica easily dodges, but Haruka is hit and knocked back. The boss attacks Angelica, who prepares for battle. Suddenly, Haruka emerges from the water riding a surfboard crafted from her earth magic. She chases after the fish, skillfully surfing the waves. The fish quickly dives in and attacks, but Haruka evades it with a jump and uses her dummy ability to control herself from the outside. This grants her increased accuracy and strength, allowing her to hit the fish directly in the head, instantly knocking it unconscious. Haruka reunites with Angelica and asks if she's okay. She nods in response. The two continue their journey, and Haruka feels excited. He's finally starting to enjoy exploring the dungeon. On the 79th floor, he finds the Ring of Unlimited Fortune. In a hidden room on the 77th floor, he discovers a blessed bracelet, and after defeating the 75th floor boss, he obtains the Necromancy gem. Haruka feels rewarded for all his effort, which further improves his mood. He wonders if it would be better to sell everything and become rich or use the items himself. However, he remembers that his luck stat is maxed out and he doesn't have any curses. After a moment's thought, he decides that the best option is to give them to Angelica. He tells her that he wants her to be happy after being cursed by darkness for so long, adding that he owes her something for letting her wear that cursed armor. The armored representative blushes and tries to refuse the gifts, but Haruka insists and refuses to take no for an answer. Angelica is deeply touched by the gesture, which Haruka finds odd, but she doesn't stop. Instead, she decides to look for more secret rooms. The armored representative finally takes off her helmet, revealing long, beautiful blonde hair. She ties it up, puts her helmet back on, and runs after Haruka. Meanwhile, on level 54, the group finally defeats all of the werewolves. The class representative celebrates, but notices that all of the girls are exhausted. The mission has been incredibly difficult, but they are determined to continue, driven by their desire to help Haruka. Suddenly, a noise comes from behind them. Everyone gets into a defensive stance, fearing it might be more werewolves. However, through the fog, Often and Marielle appear. Haruka reaches the 74th level, discovering a floor filled with lava and fire. Marielle updates the group on the situation and hears what happened with Haruka. The girl laments, realizing that without Haruka, her plan and hope for him to defeat the dungeon boss have vanished. The representative reassures her, saying it's still possible, but first, they must find him and bring him up to speed on the situation. The girls ask Oda if there is any magical way to communicate with Haruka, but Oda explains that if such a method existed, they would have already used it. Haruka tries to cross the fiery floor, but the flames and intense heat make it almost impossible to advance. Thanks to his trap detection ability, he realizes the entire floor is a trap. He wonders if he can disable it before succumbing to the heat. Haruka stumbles on a rock, but fortunately, the armored representative catches him before he falls. She points to a spot away from the fire, signaling for Haruka to rest there for a moment. The representative suggests to the others that they should keep moving, but Oda calms her down, advising her to take it slow. Haruka sits down while Angelica keeps watch. He knows that resting won't solve the problem, and starts thinking of ways to increase his resistance to the heat. Suddenly, he feels a breeze. The representative wonders where her companion might be when she feels a breeze as well, coming from a wall where she hears a voice. Haruka has stuck his head into a hole where a strong current of air is cooling him down. Using his wind magic, he creates a gentle breeze and, enjoying the results, realizes it was a brilliant idea. The representative notices a hole in the wall and recognizes Haruka's voice coming from it. After cooling off, Haruka pokes his head out of the hole, but hears the representative calling out to him. It is then that he realizes that the holes are connected via the pipe he fell into. The representative asks if he can climb out of the hole. Haruka explains that he tried when he fell, but it was no use. He asks if anyone has a rope. The representative checks with his companions, but no one has one. Haruka asks what level they are on. The representative replies, 54. Haruka thinks he'd better hurry, but the representative insists that he has something to tell him. He explains that the town is in danger due to the stampede from the dungeon. While the adventurers are holding the line, he doubts they can last much longer. He often adds that they saw the second wave of monsters on their way there, which was much larger and stronger than the first. He doubts they can hold off a third wave. Marielle tells Haruka that the only way to stop it is for him to defeat the dungeon boss. Haruka hears this and immediately looks at Angelica, who is still on alert for possible attacks. Haruka tells them that she has already defeated the boss. Everyone in the group is shocked by her incredible skill, but Oda raises a question. If the boss has been defeated, why do the waves of monsters continue? Some think it might have happened before the boss was defeated. He often asks Haruka how sure he is that he has killed the boss, because if he is still alive, the stampede will not stop. Haruka knows that this is exactly what he feared. If he does not deal with the armored representative, everyone in the city is doomed. He remembers their fight and how it started with every intention of eliminating her. But then he learned that she had been imprisoned for years and had suffered all that time. After the moments they have shared climbing the dungeon, he knows that he cannot bring himself to destroy her. Pressed for an answer, Haruka admits that he did not kill the boss. Everyone on the 54th floor exchanges confused glances, unable to understand Haruka's actions. Haruka, meanwhile, is deep in thought, trying to figure out how to save both Angelica and the village. Angelica glances at him sideways. Haruka tells her not to worry and assures her that she has an idea, but she might need her help. She then announces to her companions that she will stop the stampede. The representative asks if there is actually a chance. Haruka confidently replies yes, and she decides to believe him. She tells the others that if Haruka says she can stop it, she will. She reminds them that while she always worries them, she is also the one who always protects them, looks after them, and never betrays them. Haruka thanks the representative for his trust and stands up, determined to save both the village and Angelica. If you've reached this point in the video, don't forget to leave the word exquisito in the comments. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.